So good morning. You know me, I'm Ryan with Prudential Pest Solutions, not Prudential Pest Control, but that's all right. We are a full-service pest control and exterminating company, servicing Berks, Lancaster, and Chester counties, and really all southeastern Pennsylvania. If I didn't tell you before why we named our company Prudential as opposed to Ryan's Dead Bug Killing Service, is that Prudential or prudent means taking great care for the future, right? So what I try to do and what we do differently is we don't just spray and pray. We don't do the same thing that every other pest control company does. We actually have the intention of figuring out how the pests are getting in, what we're going to do about it, and then most importantly, what are we going to do so that it doesn't happen again. So those are the three things that we do, just in completely different. So example, someone has termites, right? Termites eat your home. They cause substantial damage. I can kill any termite that you have. In Pennsylvania, we have subterranean termites. Subterranean termites need moisture. So we're going to have a conversation of how I'm going to kill your termites, how I'm going to warranty and protect your home, but we're also going to have a conversation about why you have a moisture issue on your property. Are your downspouts routed correctly? Do you have a grading issue? Because I can treat for termites, I can warranty the property, but what happens 2 years from now if that downspout is still just discharging right into your foundation? You're going to have the same problem. So it's not so much as killing bugs, it's having a kind of a holistic general approach to pest control, right? I want to address the pests, that's why I'm there, but we're going to talk about the environmental conditions that are allowing the pests to be there, because pests, just like you or I, they require three things, right? Food, water, shelter. That's what they need. And oftentimes, bugs and insects are just a symptom of a disease, and that disease is moisture. So you would be shocked at what a $3 downspout extender will do to protect your home from termites, carpenter ants in general, fleas, ticks, that sort of thing, right? So moisture is oftentimes the disease of your home. The insects and the pests are just a symptom. So what we do is we address the symptom, but then we're going to have a conversation about gutters. Maybe they need to talk to Tyler. Grading. Maybe we need to talk to Nick about getting their issues resolved for the long term. So an example of that on the rodent side is I was at a house yesterday, and we're the third pest control company there, and they still have mice. So what the first companies were doing, they were just throwing bait. Just throw bait and we'll kill mice. But how about how they're getting in and where they're living and what are we going to do to keep them out? So common sense would say, okay, well, let's find the areas they're getting in and let's seal those up. And then instead of throwing bait, why don't we trap what's already in there and let's seal up the outside so that no new ones come in? It sounds common sense to us, but to a lot of other companies in my industry, that's just not part of what their game plan is, whereas that's the only game that we play, is how are we going to keep pests out? So these particular folks had mice in the house. All right, there's three scenarios when you have mice in the house. Three best case scenarios. Best case is you don't have mice at all. Second best case is you have mice in the basement or the garage. And then worst case is they're in the kitchen, living room, bathroom, bedroom, that sort of thing. So when I go to a home that has mice in the house, my first thought is, how are we going to keep the mice and get them out of the kitchen, get them out of the living room, get them out of the space where your wife, kids are going to see them? Because that's what prompted the phone call, right? Your family saw a mouse in the house, and now they're freaked out. They're ready to call Scott Darling to sell. So I'm going to eliminate the access points that the mice are using to go from the garage and the basement up to the livable space. That's step one. Step two is we're going to identify how the mice are getting into the house, whether the garage door seals are messed up, whether there's a gap in the electrical line where it's coming into the house, whether there's a gap in the HVAC line. We're going to address that and we're going to seal that up so that prevents new mice from coming into the house. So that the only thing we have left to do is address the mice that are already there. And we do that with traps, not bait. So with traps, we're going to kill what's already there. We don't have any issues of poisoning kids or pets. And more importantly, we don't have any issues like with bait where animals are going to die in the attic or in the ceiling or in the wall, and we're going to have to tear your house open looking for a tiny little mouse that's absolutely stinking up your whole house. So that's just an example of two different examples, whether it's termites or rodents, of how we address the issue differently, but how we kind of come about it from a whole different perspective, right? We're going to try to change the whole way that you view pests in your home, and that we're trying to avoid or trying to prevent them by sealing rather than just spraying or rather than just chucking bait and leaving. So I think that why a lot of folks use us as their second or third option is because they've already gone through that. They've already gone through the first two companies that, they've had spiders. The first two companies are just spraying. Well, they call me, and what am I going to say? I'm going to spray harder? That doesn't make any sense. No, we're going to vacuum it, and we're going to move the webbing. We're going to apply a different kind of product to where the spiders are, and we're able to resolve the issue not because we have a special kind of chemical, but because we have a different process. So that's what we bring differently to the table. So that's our rodent and pest control in general, and how we operate a little bit differently. I think that with a strong science background that I have, we're able to talk and inspect the home at a different level than maybe your Toothless Joe exterminator that you're used to seeing. And for that reason, we have tremendous success. We have great reviews online because of that. Some of the cool things that Prudential Pest has coming up. We were just interviewed for a Small Business Resource Association podcast, where they interview small businesses. We kind of talked about how we started out. I will let you know when that link posts, because I talk a great deal about this chapter, Letip Chester County East. For maybe the newer members or maybe folks that don't know, when I started our company 2.5 years ago, I had a geographic non-compete. So if you ever wondered why I live in Berks County and come down here to Chester County every single day, it's because when we started our company, we had a non-compete. Now, we could argue that that's fightable in court, but when you start a business with no customers and no money, it's kind of tough to get into a big legal battle. So we came down to Chester County. One of the first things I did was, I'm going to join a networking group. I looked online. My criteria for myself was I wanted a contractor-heavy group, because those are folks that I'm more easily able to pass work to, meaning the HVAC guys, the roofers, the exterior guys. And I wanted folks that were kind of high energy, right? Go-getters. So I reached out to Dave Kozak. This is October of 2018. I said, hey, new to business, don't have any customers, love to come check you out. I came to that first meeting. We were meeting at the Whitford Country Club. And when I met the core group of members that you see before you today on the smiling faces, I was like, this is the group I want to be in. High energy, people just want to get after it, and then they really want to help each other grow. So when I started a new area, this group was the reason why I was able to build the business that we have now, where 95% of my business is in Chester County. So you heard me say that we also service Berks and Lancaster. Sure, my 2-year non-compete's up, but 95% of our business is within 10 miles of Exton. So we're down here all day, every day, because, and that's a big part because of this group. So when we started into the group, as a new business owner, I always say Lonnie was my fifth customer, maybe ever. Fifth customer ever. And now we have a Rolodex of over 1,000. So the group has been tremendous in helping me out. And as we transition to this virtual, which I'm hoping is temporary, I think we all do, as we're all staying safe, is that to remember that why the group is so important is that it helped me out tremendously. What helped me out initially was the tips, obviously, right? Money in my pocket. But now as we kind of grow and we have employees and our business is growing, I get so much more out of talking with you folks about business development, professional development, growth, some of the struggles that you've been through so that I can learn, some of the struggles that I'm going through so that you can help me through it. So it's way more than just business passing tips. I mean, that's great, and that's more superficial to me now. I'm all about how can we be better. And when a group like this, and I mean this wholeheartedly, we have just a solid, good group of people, and I love surrounding myself with good people. So to kind of recap, that's a little bit about us. That's how much I love you guys as a group, and I will send you that link to that podcast, which basically surmises everything I just said here. Questions?
Unmute yourselves.
Ryan, what's your preferred mousetrap?
So there's 2 mousetraps that I like. One is called a T-Rex trap. It's an easy setting plastic trap. You just pull the back of it. If you use the rat size, you will smash a mouse in half, which is quite aggressive, but also kind of neat. And then I just use the standard Victor, owned by Woodstream now, wooden snap traps. So I like the ones that have the yellow.
Bait for the snap trap.
I'm sorry?
What is the best bait for snap trap?
So there's 2 that I like. I use a professional rodent gel made by Bell Labs. And the reason for that, conventional wisdom was to use peanut butter, but there's so many peanut allergies in houses now that that we just took all the liability away. So Bell Labs makes a professional peanut butter or a professional rodent and rat gel. The other thing that I've had tremendous success with is Slim Jims. So, and it's win-win.
For Slim Jim.
Well, it's win-win. A bite for you, a bite for them. It's just kind of the way it goes.
Yeah, but I make my own, so I'm really reluctant to give them any.
Well, Bob's out there shooting mice.
We don't have a toothless pest control guy. We just have a stashless pest control guy.
Yeah, and just to address that, it was great. It lasted 4 months. I was at Wing Night on Wednesday, and I was just getting Mouthful of Mustache every time. And Mouthful of Mustache is a cool band name. Agreed, Tyler. So it just had to go. It was time. And my wife was actually like super excited about it. So not saying another kid's on the way, but I'm saying she was excited about the mustache being gone.
Pest control companies, I've asked them to sign up. I already sent them an email, see if they want to come visit us. So don't worry.
Nice.
We'll get you covered.
Where are you, Eric?